Now we want to develop a functionality that will facilitate our website content or article authors to write and submit articles. So let's start create a link in our links.php file and give the file name here submit_article.php and link text as submit article. Now let's copy this file name as we need to create a PHP file with the same name. Let's create a new PHP file and paste this name of file here. And this is our new file that will be used to submit articles. Let's close PHP tags as we need to write some HTML here. Let's give heading new article, as when author will click this link and will be on this page, he will see this heading and will find a form below. I'm just pasting a simple HTML form here. In this simple HTML form, we have three fields. Title and name of the article are two input fields of type text. And we have put a small PHP code for user friendliness as we did many times before. One text area that will contain the content of the article. This field also has the PHP code that will return the submitted content back to the user if any error occurs, and the user will get this whole content back in the fields. Let's view this form in browser, and this is the form author will find when he'll click on submit article link. Let's code to get this form data and save it in database. So if the form is submitted, only then echo article submitted, just to check if the form is being submitted correctly. Let's check this in browser, put some dummy data and submit, and we get the message. So let's get back to the code and remove this message. Now let's use extract internal function to grab all the values from the submitted form fields. Let's write if condition to check if $title is empty, and if it is, store an error in errors array. Let's declare errors array above, store the concerned error for the title in the errors array, and do this for all of the fields as we did many times before. Now let's create an if statement and count values in errors array. And if there is count of values greater than 0, we'll run for each for errors array and show all the errors to the user. Now within this if statement, let's count values in errors array, and if it's equals to 0, then we can insert this data in DB after sanitizing. So we need to include two files here on this page, and those are sanitize and connection.php. Now let's quickly sanitize all the fields and store them in variables. Now let's write an insert query to insert these values in articles table. Insert into articles, parenthesis. Let's go to the articles table. Here you can see we need user ID of this particular author to store along with his article. Also we need to store art_name, title, content, and uploaded on, that is date. Let's put all of these here. Now we need to get the user ID. That's little tricky but very helpful method. So for this, what we can do here is at login.php page, when author will log in, will store his user ID in a session, and his user ID will be available on all session pages. Let's get this user ID from query and just create another session and name this session as user ID, and its value is going to be the user ID we just stored in the variable from the query. So we need to select user ID as well within our query. So let's just add this one here too. Let's get back to the submit_article.php page and start session on this page too. Now here we can simply have a variable $user ID and give it the value that is the session user ID. Now let's just echo all of these to check if everything is working fine. Comment this query out for the moment. Now get back to the browser. First thing we should do is log out and log in back, as you should know that our newly defined user ID session will be generated at the time of login. So if we need it, we need to log out of this session and then log back in. So let's put the correct credentials and login, and let's go to the submit article. Fill this form with some dummy data and click publish, and you can see we have all the values here. One you can see here is the user ID that we are grabbing from session. Let's go to the user table, and this is the user ID, and that will be stored in session when any of the user will get logged in. Now we have everything set up here, that is title, article, name, and content of the article. Now we are ready to fit all of these in our query to insert data in database. Uncomment the query, remove all echo from here, in values $user_id, and then in single quotes $art_name, $title, $content, and now parenthesis function to put the correct date in MySQL format. Just place the other stuff of catching the errors if any. Let's just store this whole query within a variable $QR.